I mean, there are different relationships out there, and what works for some people doesn't work for others. But I think being, on the same page and being a team is really crucial to being successful.
Welcome to Multifamily Insights. I'm your host, John Casman, and I want to thank you for joining us for another great episode. If you're getting some great value and enjoying this show, let us hear about it. Leave us that rating and review. It helps us, but it also helps other people find the show so they can get that same value. And if you haven't done so, or this is your first time listening, if you get great value, make sure you hit that follow or subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. We've got a great show today. We're going to be talking to Marv and Victoria McGuire. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to grow as a multifamily investor, you have to spend more time with other multifamily investors. And an easy way to do that is to join our apartment investing mastermind group today. Just go to casmancapital.com and click on the mastermind button. Now, as a part of this group, you'll get access to expert trainings, group coaching calls, industry news and updates, as well as all of our webinars and workshops, including our 3-hour workshop on raising capital. Again, if you want to be around other multifamily investors that can help you scale your portfolio today and grow your network, make sure you're a part of the Apartment Investing Mastermind. Just go to casmancapital.com and click on the mastermind button today. Now, Marvin and Victoria McGuire are a husband and wife team who have been in real estate since 2005. Now, they've been in multifamily more recently for the last few years with over 500 doors as general partners and 700 doors as limited partners. Let's welcome to the show, Marv and Victoria McGuire.
Hi.
Hey, John. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you both for coming on. I went over your bio at a very high level. Why don't you guys take 2 minutes and fill in some of those gaps?
Go ahead, switch on.
Well, I'm Victoria again. I've been a residential real estate agent since 2005. So my heart's always been in the real estate space. As you said, most recently, less than 2 years ago, actually, my husband and I kind of drove feet first into the multifamily space. He had retired from his job and we were looking for something we could do together. And we've always believed in real estate and we wanted to scale. And that's kind of what brought us to where we are today. But yeah, real estate is where it's at. It's definitely a passion of mine.
And been married to this wonderful woman for 31 years. We've got 4 grown kids, and I spent 25 years in the Navy, and then another 10 years in corporate IT sales. And glad to be in real estate now. We love it and we appreciate the value of it, and have for years.
I love it, man. 31 years married. I love that. 25 years in Navy. Thank you for your service. And then 10 years in corporate with 4 grown children as well. I love the fact that you said you got into this space more recently, a couple of years ago. But the thing that got you into it was trying to find something to do together. I know some couples, when you're doing your own thing and you get to that point where one person's retiring, it's like, all right, well, now what do we do? And you found this opportunity to get more into multifamily. As you were exploring your options, what was it about multifamily investing that sparked and connected to say, this is what we should do?
Well, we had always invested in real estate, being that I was a realtor and still am to this. I do still dabble in the residential space. I just don't pursue it as much as I used to. We're more focused on the multifamily, but we knew, the power of real estate. I had helped so many investors, make a lot of money, and we made quite a bit of money just on some single family rental homes too. And then we had, a few nightmare tenants and a few nightmare scenarios with rentals, repairs that needed to be done to the rentals, and it wiped out all our profits, and it was very frustrating. And we knew real estate could work, but we just knew it, we needed to go bigger to make it work. So that was another reason that we were attracted to the multifamily space.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Because I think it's really important, especially for folks like you, right? People close and around real estate, because they're close to it. Maybe they're buying some single family rentals. That's working for them. But you run into this situation where, life happens, disaster happens, profits are wiped out, and you're sitting there like, "Ah, man, that's like a year, 2 years worth of work kind of down the drain." Talk to us a little bit more about that and what really was it that appealed to you about multifamily instead of maybe doing the single family and just doing more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, John. I mean, Victoria kind of brushed over a little bit, but I mean, several years ago, we had tenants leave at night. They did $15,000 worth of damage to our rental. We had to put a new roof on a project just to make sure that we could get the most favorable insurance. And then we had a major leak in one of our older homes, and when they had the plumbing in the slab, so you had to rip up the floor and take the jackhammer to the slab, and like you said, I mean, it wiped out the whole portfolio's cash flow for like 2 years. And being that we had such a, we had made some money and we understood the value, it was just like, hey, you know, how can we stay in this game, in this space that we understand, and try to mitigate that risk and kind of avoid making the same mistakes. So, whenever we started real estate researching, I mean, we looked at office and retail and self-storage and all of the different classes of commercial real estate, but really, the one that we understood the best, and I think it's important for folks that are looking to scale, is you got to really do your research and then pick something that you get, that you understand. And we understood the value of that. And then you can hold it up through a lens and go, okay, well, there is a housing shortage in the United States, and people are always going to need a place to live. And you can kind of put that piece, that puzzle piece together, based on that kind of approach.
So someone may be listening and saying, okay, you had these issues, right? Which unfortunate can happen. How does multifamily, quote unquote, solve or mitigate those issues? Because in some ways, isn't it just more people and more, chances for something to go wrong? I mean, and obviously I'm a multifamily investor as well, but someone who's not as close to the space, they may have a hard time seeing that connection from, having a portfolio of single family homes to transitioning to larger multifamily and how that actually mitigate risk. Tell me about it from your perspective.
Well, you're spreading that risk, right? So if you have just a single family home and this major repair happens, you've only got the one tenant that's paying, right? So you're not getting a lot of income to offset that cost. But if you have, 100-unit apartment complex and you have a major repair, you're spreading the cost of that over the 100 tenants. It really brings the cost of it down significantly if you compare apples to apples kind of thing. And the same thing if a tenant moves out, like ours did in the middle of the night, that was the only income for that particular property because it was a single family home. So that really hurts because, it takes you maybe 30 days to find a tenant. It might be another, week or two before they move in. It's almost 2 months without any income. Whereas if you've got, 100, even if 10 people move out, it's not, as big of an impact on your income that way.
Yeah. How many units had you built in your portfolio before you moved into real estate or before you moved into commercial?
5 or 6.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't have a huge portfolio. It was just 5 or 6 homes. So that
But
did, make a big impact when one of them went wrong.
But I think it's important, right? I mean, just as I'm listening to your story, what I'm hearing you say is, again, Marv, you were in the military for 25 years, you worked in IT for 10 years, you retire, Victoria, you're out there as a realtor since 2005, so the last, 19 years or so, you guys are out there and you're now looking to transition into the next phase of your life. And this real estate portfolio of single family homes is supposed to help finance that, right? Certainly you have other funds coming through, but you built this portfolio, this portfolio of single family houses to take care of you, to provide you passive income, some upside protection, all those things. But here you are dealing with these issues where the profits are actually wiped out. So for folks who are buying houses and using them as rentals, there's nothing wrong with that. It certainly is a good strategy. But let's learn from the experience that Marvin Victoria went through and understand why so many investors love commercial real estate, in particular multifamily, because you do have the ability to spread that risk out. Not to mention, for me, I think the biggest thing is I come from business as well, and it's more predictable because if I have 100-unit building, I already know that there's certain things that are going to go wrong. They're going to go wrong just based on the numbers, right? X amount of furnaces are going to go wrong every single year. X amount of, electric or plumbing or whatever issues, refrigerators, appliances. So we can budget for that. We can plan for that. We can predict and project. And certainly there's some ebbs and flows, but we're always going to be, 90 to 95%, maybe 85%, whatever it is, occupied. So there's enough cash flow to run it like a real business, right? With single families, you're 100% rented or 0% rented. And that doesn't give you the chance to really project and plan. And it can be problematic, especially when you're trying to use these funds to finance the rest of your life and your lifestyle. So you all make the transition in a larger multifamily. We talked about, you kind of looking at different options, commercial. When you made the decision to go multifamily, what was the next step? Did you just, you know, buy the first thing you saw, or what was that process like once you decided, you know what, I think we should do this multifamily thing?
I mean, I think our first step was, we had a conversation and we really decided, hey, if we understood it at a very foundational level because we've been in dealing with real estate for years. But I think the first decision that we made was to get educated,
Hmm.
to really figure out what is the best way for both of us to get educated and learn the business on how to do it the right way. So we decided to join a mastermind group. So we joined a mastermind group, got a coach, got a mentor, and really spent several months really just digging into the finer details and that helped us both figure out what kind of what our superpower is. Hey, where do you fit? What are you good at? What are you going to do in this business? And really start to kind of really drill into that area.
I love that. And I think education is so key. We hear it all the time on the show and we preach it as well, but you absolutely want to get educated. And there are lots of ways of doing that, but we're big fans of coaching, mentorships, joining masterminds. I think it's the best way to surround yourself with people playing the game at a high level, but also getting that direct feedback because you want that in this space. This is not the time to guess and hope you did it right and see what happens and all of that, especially if you're working with other investors and their money. So surround yourself with people who are playing the game at a high level. That is a great skill and a great insight that you were able to take and make sure it worked for you and your investing. You mentioned that you were able to get some feedback in regards to, maybe where your skills were and how you worked. As a husband and wife team, how do you approach the business and the day-to-day aspect of it?
Well, we did explore like several different things that we thought, hey, I might be good at that. I might be good at that. And that's what we really liked about the coaching and, kind of having that one-on-one to dive into the different aspects of the business, like what might be a good fit for our skill sets. And we ended up at and landed on is I'm really good with the numbers. So I've kind of jumped into the underwriting role, and I'm the one that evaluates all the properties and kind of says, yeah, this is a good deal, this one isn't. And my husband, as you can tell, probably is more of like a people person, and he was in sales. So it's very natural for him to go into the capital raising space. He's really, really good at it. And so those two skills together, we've been able to get onto a lot of other teams that we can plug in and complement, their skills, like people that are in the asset management, maybe, multifamily is definitely a team sport. So everybody's got their skill set. And if you build a team that, can complement each other's skills, it can be really powerful.
I love what you said about it being a team sport, and we hear that over and over and over. And I'm telling you, like, I would hear people say that, I'm like, yeah, yeah, whatever, right? But the moment that light bulb goes off, that you do not have to do this all by yourself, and you can truly plug into a team or bring whatever talents and skills you have, and think of it when we say team sport, like you could be the greatest player in the world. If it's a team sport and you have no teammates, you're going to lose. So you have to have folks who can, support and help you out. And maybe sometimes you're the support and you're helping out. But if you approach it that way with the collective win in mind, you're going to be more successful. And again, it's another reason to join masterminds and being involved in organizations, because now you have kind of a potential network of partners built in. So you're going to make those connections. You're going to get a chance to learn what they know and who you like and who you don't like and all that stuff. So great way for you to grow and scale. You talked about learning your skill sets, right? You enjoy underwriting. Marvin's focused more on building relationships and raising capital. And I think it's important too, because we have a lot of husband and wife teams who are looking to scale into business, whether it be in real estate specifically or just any kind of business. And there's always some challenges because you have other aspects of your relationship and that dynamic to work through. How do you all handle it? You know, did you just come in and everything is smooth day one, or you both laugh? That's good. Or did you go through periods where you really had to sit down and just, you know, have those tough conversations to realize, hey, you got to chill here, like, or you need to do more here. Like, how do y'all approach that?
Oh goodness, that's a great question. And yes to all of the above. So I like to go, go, go. I'm like, I'm a deal junkie. I want to raise money. I want to chase deals, and I'm always asking, so what do we think about this? What do we think about this? What do you want to do? And she's the one that's just like, that's not a deal, pump the brakes. And so we I think what's really been worked for us is, probably every morning we have a couple of cups of coffee together and we kind of talk through, okay, what are our priorities for the day? And then, every Sunday afternoon or so, we'll say, hey, what are our priorities for the week? And it's really helped us, hey, I'm going to work on these things. These are my priorities that will help move us forward on this deal or these two deals or this initiative that we're trying to get done, something around marketing or something. And Victoria will do the same thing. It's like, hey, I want to focus on these three deals I'm going to underwrite and see how far we can get them through our underwriting process so we can potentially get to LOI. And I think by having that, those kind of routine communication, collaboration, cooperation sessions each day and a a larger one on the weekend helps us kind of, helps us stay in sync and gives her an opportunity, because it's usually more her than it is me, to say, hey, you're a knucklehead, focus over here. You need to get focused on your priorities and keep me focused. So I think it works out well.
I like that, especially because, you know, one or two things happen if you decide to go into business with your spouse. It's either going to bring you closer together because you're talking about, you know, business, family, like everything kind of just melts together. Or, you know, you're going to have more fights and, you know, a lot more disagreements. And I recall my wife and I were in business together starting out, and we worked really well together. But when we were ready to scale, we started to do a couple different things, and then we didn't work quite as well together. And it always comes back to communication, right? So it's being able to clearly communicate, you know, what you're working on, what the priority is, and making sure that you understand that dynamic. And I think the other challenge that we faced, and I know a lot of couples face this, is I want to call it a power dynamic, but what I realized is there were times where in my mind I could separate, you know, what business John needed from my business partner versus husband John needed from his spouse. And my wife saw it as one thing. So I could be upset that my business partner didn't do something, but then 10 minutes later say, hey baby, how you doing? And she's like, are you serious? Like, no, didn't you ask me to underwrite this deal? Don't talk to me, I got to go do that. So I don't know if y'all experienced that or not, but I know a lot of couples,
Yes.
like, I know, to me it was, that wasn't, no, that was John talking to his business partner. That was not me talking to my wife. What do you mean, babe? But
We
talk
were
to me
at
about just
work.
that dynamic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was at work. That was 10
Yeah,
minutes
that's
ago.
exactly, that's me. That's me. Hey, where are we on that deal? She's like, I'm busy, I'm busy. And
Yeah,
then, hey, sweetheart, you want to go out to the porch? And
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's always funny. We would joke about it now, but like there was a period, especially we had small children, so she's like, "Please tell me, when do you want me to do this? In the middle of taking care of the kids, in the middle of this, in the middle of that?" And I'm like, "Yes." So, you know, the business is like it's like another child, right? So, I mean, you've got that, you got to nurture it. It needs certain attention, and that's part of the process, man. But yeah, I think that's great to hear. For those couples who maybe are struggling and trying to work together, even if they're not necessarily in business together, but they want to invest, they want to build a portfolio, even if one person's taking the lead, and maybe the other person is either not on board or having some challenges. What feedback would you give them or advice to maybe help them work through those challenges?
Well, I mean, I think you summed it up best where you said communication is the key, right? I think that's so important. There's so many things that can go wrong when you're not talking through things, and making sure that you're both on board, because there are a lot of times when maybe one spouse is more hesitant, you know, they've got worries around it. when you're talking about investing your money, that always brings anxiety to a lot of people. So I think really taking that time to make sure that you're on the same page, that you're both comfortable with everything, that you've talked through all the different scenarios, that really helps a lot. I don't think it's good to just have one spouse that's doing everything. I mean, there are different relationships out there, and what works for some people doesn't work for others. But I think being, on the same page and being a team is really crucial to being successful.
I love that. All right, let's transition just a little bit here. You all have invested over 1,200 units at this point. What markets are you invested in, and what do you look for when investing in a market?
Uh, right now we're investing in, the South Carolina and Georgia markets. We're also targeting deals in Florida and Texas, but we haven't been successful there yet. And we are really what we look for in deals is not so much distressed deals, but deals that are, maybe the operation team is not just paying as close enough attention as they need to be. Those deals that are, class B, maybe class C properties that are just kind of neglected. Maybe the operators are focused on other deals that might be in trouble, or, they just might not be taking as close a care to the property as they need to. And we can go in, and one of the things that I was going to mention earlier, one of the reasons that we got into multifamily and that we love the space so much is, you can force the appreciation. Like you said, you run these like a business, and that gives you that much more control on the deal, on how to, unlike residential, where they're just comparing your primary residence versus something similar down the street, you can really get in and take control to a degree of these properties and drive that value. And that's really kind of the properties that we look for, the properties that we can go in, we can add value to those properties and really increase their worth and improve the quality of life for the tenants.
Yeah, you talked about investing in those kind of sunshine states, right? So South Carolina, Georgia, looking in Florida, looking in Texas, lots of opportunities in markets like that. Coming in with a focus on B class properties where there's really an operational upside. So you're trying to really stay away from like highly distressed deals, right? Where they need a ton of work and, kind of come in and save the day on those properties. Really focusing on properties where those owners are not really squeezing all the value. Maybe they're not doing some of the repairs, but there's an opportunity for you as an investor to come in and run it truly like a business and bring more value to yourself and your investing partners doing so. Let's talk about the next step of this, right? So as you build this out, you're a couple years into this business. What does the future hold? Like how you grow and scale your current portfolio?
Yeah, well, we are looking to, add probably two or three complexes like deals, I would say, to our pipeline every year. Um, the reason we don't want to just go full bore and try to do a bunch of deals, sometimes you hear about these operators that are bringing seven, eight, nine, 10, opportunities to market every year. We don't think that's realistic, at least not for us. We really are trying to focus and fine tune everything and make sure that the deals that we bring to our investors, that we're really confident in those deals and getting the returns that we're projecting. So we're keeping our pipeline kind of small. We're focused on getting just 2 to 3 deals a year. We want to make sure they're quality deals. And our end goal is just to continue to do that. And we heard this really cool thing called an income snowball, a net income snowball. So we're looking to build that net income snowball. Because most of these properties, we're looking at a 5-year hold on the majority of them. There are some that, are legacy assets that we hope will hold long term. But we're hoping to stack all these up, like rolling up a hill, and then get that big snowball going and roll it down where we can just kind of, reap the rewards of all the hard work and have that income coming in.
No, I love that strategy, and I think you're very smart for taking a measured approach, and it's similar to how we think about the business, right? It's, I think quarterly is kind of the most we would be comfortable doing deals. When you get groups who are doing 8, 10, 12 deals a year, again, if they have the infrastructure for that, that's great, but it definitely requires a certain level of manpower to be able to execute on something like that. But to me, about 2 to 4 deals a year that's enough to vet proper deals to make sure you're not just getting into anything, but also make sure that you have the proper onboarding process, get the team up and running, and you can implement that business plan. So I like a lot of what you said. And the net income snowball approach, I think that's brilliant and definitely a great way to think about the business and your ultimate investing goals. You know, Marv, we talked about you kind of retiring after 35 years of service between the military and corporate America. For those folks who are either at or getting close to retirement age, maybe they have funds in an old retirement account from their days in corporate or the military or pension plan or something like that. What advice would you give them about maybe diversifying into real estate if everything right now is currently in the stock market?
Oh goodness. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is a self-directed IRA. What we, probably 60% of the folks that invest with us use a self-directed IRA because, they're coming, they're in their primary earning years, and maybe they've got, like you said, that 401k sitting out there from a previous employer that they're not contributing to, or they're not getting a match to, and it's just kind of sitting out there. So we encourage folks to put that into self-directed IRA, and it just gives them that much more control over what they want to invest in, whether that's real estate, which obviously that's the tool that we love, but gold and private lending and crypto, and it just gives folks more control. And I think in the way the current market is and where we are right now, I mean, I think people want to have that control over their financial future.
Yeah, I love that. And I would say too, like, with everything going on in the world and how crazy things can be, um, everyone should look to take more control over their own financial future. You may not have all the information today, but that's why education is so important to learn about these asset classes, learn how to be a good investor, whether it's real estate related or something else. But take control, learn how to direct those funds and those investments yourself. Talk to experts, listen to shows like this, listen to shows on other financial investing strategies, but take control. Don't just trust that, your 401k is in good hands and you're going to wake up at the day of retirement and be set for life. That just simply is not the case for most Americans. So take more control and listen to what Marv just said there. For folks who do want to learn more about you and kind of your investment opportunities, they can check out your website, heartsillcapitalpartners.com. We will link to that in our show notes. Right now, we're going to transition to our round of insights. All right. Marvin, Victoria, I'll let however you want to answer these questions. You want to tag team, you want to switch back and forth, it's up to you. But first question, give me a failure or an apparent failure that set you up for later success.
Okay, around the insights. We probably 5 years ago, we invested in a startup without doing a lot of due diligence, and invested with partners that we really did. It was just on a recommendation from a friend. Hey, these are good people, and we didn't understand. It was an IT tech startup. Didn't understand the technology. Didn't really know the partners, and we lost a substantial amount of money. So it was really, the lesson learned there is to take your time, research the partners, get into something that you understand before taking any risk.
Give me a digital or mobile resource you recommend for your business.
Digital resource. Well, Crexi, started using Crexi Intelligence, and that has been really insightful for me because I'm in the numbers space and the underwriting. That would probably be the main one I would recommend right now. I don't know if you on the Capital Raise have another suggestion. I think it kind of depends what you're focused on.
I listen to tons of podcasts. I mean, I'm constantly getting educated using podcasts. So, I mean, your podcasts, there's a ton of podcasts out there that really help you, in this specific area that you're focused on. So that would be my recommendation.
Give me the book you've recommended or gifted the most in the last year.
Well, for me, it's The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. I just found, I think anything by Ryan Holiday is just, is outstanding.
All right. Give me a daily habit that helps you stay focused on your goals.
I would say what Marv mentioned during the interview. I hate to be repetitive, but our time together and planning ahead and kind of setting our goals, that has been instrumental for us. And then we're both very physically active, so getting our exercise in every day at the beginning of the day helps us to kind of focus and get done what we need to get done that day.
She's run 31 marathons, so she's a big runner.
Say that again.
She's run 31 marathons, so she's a big runner.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm tired just hearing you say that.
Me too.
No,
me
kudos.
too.
That's impressive. All right, give me your number one insight for transitioning into commercial multifamily real estate.
Take action. Take action. I mean, whether that action's to get educated, whether that's actions to reach out to other partners, whether that action is to pull the trigger and write the check to join a mastermind, you gotta move. You know, the difference between taking no action and not being able to do something is the same. You don't take any action, you're not going to have any success or failure. You're just not going to achieve anything. So I would say take action.
All right, last question here. You all are based in Tampa, in the Tampa area. Give me your favorite place to grab a bite to eat.
Sure. We both love Mexican, and we have dietary restrictions. We're vegan, so Mexican's the easiest for us. And we just recently discovered a place called Wicked Cantina in St. Pete. It's excellent. If you're ever in the area, St. Pete Beach, St. Pete, it's a wonderful place to eat. I highly recommend it.
Sounds like a great choice. So listen, you gave us some great information. I really enjoyed hearing your story about, coming together here, 31 years of marriage. And, as you entered retirement age, wanted to make a transition, getting into multifamily after building a single family portfolio, but recognizing that multifamily offered scale and some other benefits that you simply don't get in the single family space. Acquiring over 1,200 units, a little more than half of that as active investors or LP investors, and then a little bit more on the GP side of it as well. And just talk about what it takes to work together, build that partnership, communication, collaborating, cooperation, all those things, and how important it is for you to stay on the same page so that you understand how to work together and continue to scale this portfolio. Again, if folks are interested in learning more, connecting, they can go to your website, heartsillcapitalpartners.com. We will link to that in our show notes. I want to thank you again for being a great guest and coming on Multifamily Insights. We look forward to staying in touch with you and hope you have a great day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, John.